Welcome to Momma-sota, the podcast where we dive headfirst into the beautiful mess of motherhood. I'm your host, Monica Eichman, and I'm here to keep it real. In a world that changes by the minute, parenting can often feel like an uphill battle. We all want what's best for our children, but what that best looks like varies for every one of us. Momma-sota is your passport to the unfiltered, unapologetic world of mommy. No perfectly edited snapshots or unattainable ideals here. We're here to share the ups and downs, the triumphs and tantrums, the mess and the beauty of being a mom. Join me as we explore the raw and authentic side of parenting. This is your safe space to vent, laugh, and learn as we navigate the unpredictable journey of raising strong, capable, and independent children for the future. Hey mamas, welcome to today's episode of Momma-sota. With our normal release schedule being the first and third Wednesday of the month, this May presents us with a unique opportunity to add in a little bonus track. So I've compiled a list of frequently asked parenting questions that I've received via email. Thought I could take those and I'll do a quick little question and answer session for you all. But before we jump into those, I just want to remind you all that I'm not a parenting expert. I don't have any early childhood education, certifications, or degrees, and I'm not going to be giving any medical advice or anything like that. These answers are simply going to be my opinions and based on what I've experienced as a mom of 3. I know parenting is most definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation, but I'm hoping that throughout these few questions, if you gain just one new piece of information, something to try or learn about a product you hadn't heard of before, your job as a mama will be just a little bit easier. So with that, jump on into the questions and I'll share with you the pages from my personal playbook. So the first question we have is, what is the best present to gift to a 1-year-old? So I'm all about practical gifts. I know getting the fun, cute outfits is always fun, but that only goes so far. So if I'm gifting to somebody else, you can't go wrong with diapers and wipes. Like, they're going to need them. We're always going to use them. The gift would be, even if it's a double, who cares? Like, we can get doubles of diapers. That's fantastic. You don't need to worry about returns, exchanges, I guess, unless we get the wrong size. But diapers and wipes, that's my go-to for a 1-year-old because the 1-year-old doesn't know or care. So that's going to give you big props to the mom and dad. And then I know a lot of times people are into like getting their child that big gift. That's not my thing, but that's cool. So that big gift that you want to get your kid for a 1-year-old, my tops are a mud kitchen or a water table. Those will be used for a really long time and provide hours and hours of play and tons of imagination and opportunity. Practical gift, diapers, wipes, big gift, mud kitchen, water table. All right, next question. We've got, what is the best sippy cup? So what is the best sippy cup? I've tried so many from soft spout, hard spout, and straw types, but my kid will not take it. Okay, so hear me out here. None of my kids have ever used a sip. Our babies want to be just like us, so they see us drinking out of a regular open mouth glass. Of course, a full-size cup is too big, and any sort of spill would make a huge mess. So what all of my kids have done is use a shot glass. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it just works. Even better now, you can get silicone shot glasses. So they're easier on the teeth. You don't have to worry about anything breaking, anything like that. The size for their hands and their mouth is just perfect. It's just a little cup, and then any spill would be minimal. And then again, it's one last transition you have to work through. So I'd also never use bottles. I'm an extended breastfeeder, but you get the, how do I get my kid off of the bottle? Now, how do I get my kid off of the sippy cup? And if we just kind of cut some of those steps out, hopefully your life will just be a little bit easier. So best sippy cup, my opinion, no sippy cup, shot glass. And next we have, how do I get my toddler to stop throwing their food on the ground? So here's a perfect scenario in which we can lean into gentle parenting in regards to setting boundaries, setting a clear boundary with 2 easy choices. So your little feels some autonomy, but there's still natural consequence, can be quite effective. For this particular situation, it might look something like this. So this is you speaking to your child after they've thrown food on the ground. You could say, would you like to keep your food on your tray and eat, or would you like to get down and play? And at this point, if they throw food on the ground, then you say to them, it looks like you chose to get down and play, remove them from the table, put them down on the ground. So now they've seen you set a clear boundary of what you're going to do if they continue the behavior you don't want. You've given them the two choices so that they can make a decision. And then with them throwing the food, you told them that they made the decision to get down. After that occurs, you kind of have a couple choices here, depending on, again, the age and how advanced or not advanced your child is in their understanding. You can draw out that natural consequence, being, let's say this is dinner time, through, the rest of the night. Now they're done eating. If that's just not going to work, you still want it to be significant enough so that they're understanding or feeling kind of that consequence, but maybe a minimum of 30 minutes. And then you can say, all right, we'll try this again, put them in their seat, let them eat. If the food's thrown again, it doesn't have to be instantly taken back down, but you set that boundary once again, saying you have the choice to stay, eat the food on your tray and eat, or you can get down and play. If they throw the food again, you made that choice to get down, put them down, and then, go through there. Like I said, you kind of have to fit your child, but that's when you can start to talk to them about, I know it's hard when we don't get to eat our food. I make decisions like this and I'm hungry. I have to wait until my next meal, and kind of go through some of that. But the key here is going to be, setting the boundary, giving them a choice, following through, and being consistent. Next question here. How do you deal with backseat fighting? This one can be tough, and again, entirely depend on your kiddo's age and your situation, but I'll throw out a couple of ideas. For younger kids, I would say pick a drive in which it is something they're looking forward to, like an outing to get ice cream, going to the playground, or heading to a sports practice. So it's significant to them, and it's not something that's going to do like getting to daycare and work, because that situation is not really going to work. But just say, when you guys are fighting like this, I am distracted and it's not safe for me to drive. I'm going to pull over until you guys are done fighting, and then I will continue driving. You might not get very far. You might be sitting there for a while, but not driving and saying it's because you're distracted and you want to keep them safe, because that's ultimately the biggest problem with some of that backseat fighting. And then with that, if you want to, you can set, extend it to setting time limits. Basically saying, if I have to pull over 5 times, or each time I pull over, I'm going to set the timer. And if we make it, if we get past 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we won't be going to the playground or won't be going to get that ice cream. So that, again, they can have that, some piece of that for your own sanity of like, what's the end game here? I'm not just going to sit on the side of the road for 28 minutes. So that can be one thing of just pulling over each time and telling them, nope, not doing it. Another one is an option for a little bit older kids, again, depending on your neighborhood, the safety, but driving home. And you can always kind of prep for this with backup too. So let me kind of tell you what I mean. Driving home, if you're getting to a point where at this point you're not on the highway, they know how to get home from where you are, you can pull over again and say, it seems like we're getting a little bit too antsy in the car. You guys need to go out and get some air. While you're out getting some air, I'm going to keep driving and you can walk home. Once you're calm again, you'll be able to get back in the car. So you can pull ahead, 2 stop signs, couple blocks, decide from there, pull to the side of the road, watch them walk, see how they're, interacting with each other. Once they get to the car, say, hey, are you guys ready to get back in the car? We can try this again. Or if you can see, if they're still battling each other, trying to get the first one in the door, roll down the window and say, hey, I'm going to give you guys, it looks like you need a little bit more fresh air. So I'm going to pull ahead to the next stop sign or the next couple blocks and kind of go from there. Like I said, this could be something planned where if you have 2 vehicles, you and your husband, he's trailing behind to keep an eye on the kids. Again, depending on age, depending on your neighborhood, your safety and what that's going to look like. Or even a friend, say, hey, I'm going to need backup. We're coming home from school. They always start fighting about this point. Would you be able to follow me today? Something simple like that. But really the idea is just letting them know that you are not going to drive the car with them fighting in the background. Figuring that out, either they're going to be walking or you're going to be sitting on the road, you're going to miss out on things. Then we've got, how do you get your picky kids to eat vegetables? All right, so I want to start by saying your littles only know the foods you've introduced them to. So Yes, I know there's daycare and other caregivers too, but keep that in mind with all of this. And I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but if your child has never had chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, you wouldn't be stuck in a place where you're saying, how do I get my kid to eat vegetables? The only thing they want is chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. So, working off of that, because my husband would say, I can't go backwards. So, here are a few tips going forward. I don't like to call it hiding vegetables in your kiddos' food or tricking them because it's not really what it is. The recipe can be however you want it. So, there are ways to incorporate vegetables into a meal that's not just a scoop of broccoli on the side of their plate if that's not working for you. A couple options. Steamed veggies can be blended into a lot of pasta sauces, especially a marinara. So steam up your broccoli or your zucchini or your peppers, whatever that might be, toss them into the food processor, a little bit of water, toss them in with your tomato sauce. Like that's what a tomato sauce is. It's blended up tomatoes. Your kid's not going to eat a tomato. So into sauce, definitely one way you can incorporate more vegetables. Also, if you use the water from your cooked vegetables, you can boil your noodles in that or cook your rice in that or keep that water to use as a soup base. So just I know different things break down and some of the nutrients and vitamins might not be there. But as much as we're holding on to pieces of that, that's another way we can kind of incorporate some of that. We can add spinach to a fruit smoothie. My kid definitely spinach is going into those. And then I just call it a Hulk smoothie. That seems to get them excited. So I would say naming food something, crazy, that works also. Mashed cinnamon squash into oatmeal. There's some other options there. And then the last thing to try is make sure that you give them a vegetable or you're trying vegetables several different ways. And so what I mean by this, for instance, my children they'll eat raw broccoli, not their favorite, but they will eat raw broccoli. They love steamed broccoli, but they want nothing to do with pan-fried broccoli or broccoli that's in like a stir fry. Or in the case of peas, they love frozen peas, especially they love to eat them still frozen. They are not going to touch canned peas. Who can blame them? I'm not going to touch those either. And then they're kind of hit and miss with pea pods, whether they're snap peas or snow peas. And if the snow, even with those, if they're cooked or raw, they kind of go back and forth. So with that, like I said, is don't just say my kid doesn't like broccoli. Have you tried broccoli in the different ways? Same with carrots. That's another one. Excuse me. Baby carrots and like whole carrots don't even taste the same to me raw. So have you tried both? A whole carrot, a baby carrot. Have you tried a whole steamed or boiled baby carrot and whole carrot? You can puree some carrot and mix it with applesauce. So like I said, there's just so many options with a vegetable, just with one single vegetable to be tried so many different ways. So that is my getting your picky eater to eat vegetables tips. And then it looks like we have one last question here. What are some travel tips for flying with your baby? All right, this is a good one. And it could go on and on and on. And there's definitely different variations, I guess, depending on the actual age of your baby, the size of your baby, what car seat stage they're in. So I'll try to keep it focused on a few key areas. And I'm going to answer on the assumption that you didn't buy an extra ticket for your baby. So under 2, you don't have to. And that you're going to have a lap child. Well, first is getting through the airport. Now, bear with me a bit on this. I know every airport is going to be slightly different with its TSA agents and its rules. I can never keep track of keep my shoes on, take my shoes off. So baby rules is just a whole other thing. And then sometimes you have TSA agents on a power trip, so that changes it too. But so like I said, bear with me on that. I love to baby wear, but I actually don't find it helpful in the airport. My wrap is going to be right in my checked luggage. So for travel through the airport, I prefer my stroller and car seat combination system. And now keep in mind, like I said, again, if you're at a stage where your kid's in a larger car seat, we'll kind of talk through how that looks just a little bit different. Car seat, stroller combination. First, just know that they are going to make you take your baby out of the car seat or stroller going through security. So if you have a sleeping baby, just be prepared for that, because it annoys me every time. I'm like, my baby's sleeping, they're fine. But just know mentally, so that you can, like I said, hopefully one last thing to anger you on your trip through the airport, and just know it's coming. But as far as your diaper bag goes, you do get some passes in terms of like the liquid and food rules, but they are going to do extra tests on those items. So just make sure you've prepared that extra time. And then you can pack baby food, you can pack your bottles, your formula, all of those types of things that you're going to need to tend to your baby. I'm uncertain on this one, they might still be a stickler on the ounces when it comes to your butt cream. So just pay attention there. The last thing you want is your $10 butt cream to be thrown away. If you're concerned, buy a smaller one or put that in your checked luggage just so you don't lose your butt cream. And same with like your sunscreen. But like I said, the bottles and the baby food and the formula, those are good. Just extra swab. So anyways, back to the stroller and car seat. So you can use them all the way through the airport and check them for free at your departure gate. Now, there's the whole argument about how your luggage is handled being put into the plane's undercarriage. So safety and integrity of your car seat is a choice you have to make for your family. I personally like to think that the world and its people don't absolutely suck. And so I hope they would see a baby's car seat and choose not to throw it onto the airplane. So there's that. And then, so if you're like me at this point and you made it through security to your gate, it's time to, but for the sake of substance here, let's just say you've got plenty of time still to wait at your gate. If your baby is at in the development that they're crawling or walking, the floor is dirty, and yes, you can wash away the germs. And remember, they're going to be quite confined and restricted on the plane. So give them not only will hopefully get out some energy, but prolonging the time you try to maintain them on your lap is not in anyone's best interest. So now boarding. A lot of airlines will include parents with young children and babies. With some of the early boarding, they'll say, for those needing more time category, kind of one of those things. And other airlines don't. Personally, I don't care. The last thing I want to do with a lap child or really any of my children is sit on the airplane any longer than absolutely necessary. So my tip here being, I pretty much wait until they're calling my name over the loudspeaker, like not actually, but really when they're saying like, everyone at this point can board, this is last boarding, that time. And then I'm still not going to go stand in line, but that's when I'm going to get on the airplane the very last. So prior to that, this is the point. The very last thing I do is their diaper, so we're fresh to go. Waddle if we're still that young. And this is also the time to get a bottle mixed if you haven't already, and you bottle. So then you can hop on line. Hopefully there's no line left. I like to wait till there's your ticket to board. Here's where you also let them know that you need to check your car seat and stroller, and they'll give you, and then you're going to roll all the way to the bottom of the jetway. And that's where you're going to leave them. So what's super slick about this process is when you get off of the airplane at your destination, your car seat and stroller will be right there waiting for you. Or actually, let's be honest, you usually have to stand there and wait, but you don't have to go down to baggage claim and go all the way through the airport. You'll get your car seat and stroller right off at the end of the plane, but you have it all the way through the airport. So on the plane is the last kind of part here that I'll focus on. Best case scenario, the baby will sleep the entire time. Mission accomplished. But either way, takeoff and landing is the trickiest part because of the pressure change, just like it is for like most passengers. During these times, you want to be nursing or a bottle or pacifier. Basically, that sucking motion, the sucking and the swallowing is going to do wonders for baby's ears. And then the rest of the plane ride, barring your baby sleeping, is all about distraction. Easy toys. My go-to that young, something to shake, a mirror, and a couple of suction spinners. These are especially good if you window seat, playing with the shade. I don't care if it, but these suctions
on the can be better than the back seat of the person in front of you, just because as they're pulling and tugging and spinning, it's obviously not as annoying to the person in front of you, but they work on your seat tray. I'll be a little bit more mindful, I guess. And then the other piece, again, depending on the age and the stage of what they can and cannot eat, is going to be snack. Think about the snack. Use pouches or contain cereal, puffs, whatever, those types of things. But something that's not sticky, ooey gooey, all over the place. Snacks, 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 snacks. And then also just give them to them like one at a time. Wait till they want another one. So it just kind of slows that process down. Anything you can do to slow the process down for them to keep them engaged longer is going to work in your favor. So that is flying with your little ones. And that wraps up our question and answer session this time around. I had fun sharing with you some of my pet secrets that live with my family. Hopefully that is something that makes your journey a bit easier. I'm sure I've learned a lot, and what works for me might not work for you. All of you should certainly comment with any additional ideas I have that we could. Thank you to the mamas who have shared. Keep them coming. So again, and until next time, keep doing your best.
Thank you for joining me on this roller coaster of momming right here on Momma-sota. I hope you enjoyed our candid conversation about all things parenting, where perfection is left at the door and real life takes center stage. Stay tuned for more heartfelt, unfiltered discussions in the next episode. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review Momma-sota on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us. Until next time, this is Monica Eichmann signing off. Keep rocking that mom life, and remember, you've got this.